Hello, I'm Rebecca Gould, and I'm the moderator for the group on Facebook called Treadle Sewing Machines and More. And this is the last in a series on thread embroidery on a treadle machine. And this is going to be all about resources. So most of my designs I create in Cricut. And for instance, this is the latest design that I made. And in this design, you could see where you could do your satin stitch for the dots. You could do your line fill or your spiral fill. You can do the lines where we kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then forward a little bit. So this would incorporate all the stitches that I showed you. And this was easily created in Cricut if you have that ability. Now, before I get further along in all the information I have to share with you, I printed this on dissolvable paper, and I bought this online, but I wanted to let you know it can be a little bit tricky going through your printer. So what I do is I take some double-sided tape and I will tape this down to a piece of regular copy paper and then run it through my copy machine, and I find that it does very well. I buy this in bulk off of Amazon, and when I will stick this on top of my fabric, and then I will cover it with this water-soluble paper so you can still see through it. And the reason why I will do both is because this paper will tear real easy, and you can't print on this water-soluble stuff. It won't work, but you can print on my design on this, and then I cover it with this to protect it from being torn. And I buy this off of Amazon too, and here's one still in the package. New Embroidery. I'm going to give you a close-up look of the label. And then I also have, this is a cutaway embroidery stabilizer that I'll use for underneath. And this is another one that I use. I also have this tearaway stabilizer that you can draw on. It's not my favorite to use, but sometimes if I have a big hoop and I want to do an elaborate drawing, this works well, and you can go along the outlines with just a regular running stitch, and then it tears a lot nicer than like regular copy paper. So that is it for how I put the designs on there. Now I want to talk about some other resources. The first class that I took on thread painting and embroidery was for the regular sewing machine, and I took that off of Craftsy, and it was called Free Motion Machine Embroidery, and it was really a good class. But it was also when I decided I'd rather have a treadle, because there is a little bit of a hesitation when you press the pedal on your sewing machine and it just kind of goes and then starts sewing. And I find that's a bit irritating. I am easily irritated, but not really. But I found that I thought that I would have more control if I use a treadle. And you do. I believe you really do. Of course, the sewing machine that I had was, a cheaper brand. Maybe the more expensive ones aren't like that, but the more expensive ones can do embroidery. So, and then after I took that class, I did some searching on YouTube, and I found Marilyn Lee. And Marilyn Lee is excellent at embroidery of all types. This woman is an artist. She's beyond me. But I feel like she's a kindred spirit and that we both like to chain stitch. We are artsy. We love the garden. And I really feel like she's a beautiful person. And she actually offered a class and I took that. I don't know if she still does it, but she is on Facebook and she has a group and you can join that. And she's just a beautiful soul. And then I also found Tim, I believe it's Latimer, Latimer, and he has some YouTube videos that I watched, and because of him, I bought my bluish green machine because it was like his. And that was when I realized that I did like the tension that is on those machines. And then probably my favorite class that I took is a woman that does have a group on Facebook. I believe she speaks Portuguese. And so I didn't understand a word that she said. But the classes that she offered, I feel were totally worth it because it will take your embroidery to a whole nother level. And I'm still trying to learn to master all the things that I was taught in her classes. I mean, she's phenomenal. It was worth every penny. So, and I'm going to show you her name because I'll try to pronounce it, but it's Bordados de Atelier Lenarte is what I think it is, and she has a Facebook group, and through her Facebook group, she posts about her classes. She's excellent. Now I'd like to share books. I love books, and I have a tendency, anything that I pursue, I just really kind of run with it. And you know, why not? If you're really interested in something, why not just run with it? Learn all you can. And I'm still learning so much. Every day I'm learning from this. But these are my favorite books. And I've tried to not repeat authors. Before I go on to the favorite books, I will show you some places that I find designs. I like coloring books. I think coloring books are a great place to find designs. But most of the time, like I said, I create them in Cricut. So I love the mandalas. That is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of detail. So you do need to master what your skills are before you come in and try to do all this. But to just make a copy of that and put it on your fabric, I think is awesome. So much fun. And then, like, I like to garden, so here's a bunch of garden ideas. Even if I don't copy per se exactly what this is, you know, it's not like I'm gonna copy that exactly, but it gives me the idea of drawings to do. So that's the coloring books. And you know, for if you have children and you can go and get their favorite character in a coloring book, and then you can come home and draw copy designs or do similar to it. You know, there are copyright laws. You don't want to break those. But you can really make some cute things for your kids or grandkids. Now this book was put out by Singer. This is a reproduction of that book. And it covers all sorts of embroidery on the Treadle. They actually have electric ones too. But it takes you through all sorts of skills. And I think it's pretty close to the Bordados de Atelier and Lenarte classes. It's like she read this book and just did it. And so I would highly recommend this. I got this copy off of Amazon. Actually, I think I pretty much all got all of my books, except for the coloring books, off of Amazon. And after that, I had gone to the library, and you know, my art skills are not, I'm not a natural artist, a portrait artist or anything like that. And I wanted to, even though this is a painting book on how to paint, I thought it was great at teaching me how to layer colors and kind of bring it together. The more you can learn, the better off you are. And so I found this book at the library and I went out and bought it because I thought it was so good in how to layer colors. And it's called The Brushstroke Handbook by Maureen McNaughton. But here's one page of it. And you can see how she lays it out, how she does her colors in her sections to create a design. Now, wouldn't that be pretty on like a pant leg? You know, and so it kind of puts it all together, and you can do that in the embroidery. And then the next person that I came across, I only have one of her books out here, but let me show you this. This was the first embroidery that I kept, and I got the ideal out of the book from Trish Burr. This was the embroidery I had done. Now you can see there is puckers in it. I realize that. But it was the first one that I was really proud of that I had embroidered on my treadle. And I found that in a Trish Burr book. She has several books. This one actually has some iron-on transfers in it where you could directly put it on your material. And I have about 3 of her books. I just really, really love her. Then I wanted to expand into making dolls. So I found this book on faces. And this one is by Melissa Averinos. And then I just thought this one would be neat to for the information on stuff I normally would. This is more like for a real bona fide artist doing artistic thread painting, not just little birds or something like that, but really going the gamut with it. Creative thread sketching, a beginner's guide. And this covers equipment, machine needles, thread, setting up your machine for free motion, understanding tension fabrics, all about stabilizers, stitch basics, puckering and how to avoid it. And obviously I got this after I did my little bird, but it really is a great book and I highly recommend it. And here's, I know this is a repeat of the Trish Burr, but this is where I found the little bird that I did. Now these are kind of just like doodles. Like if you want a bunch of ideals, it's how to embroider almost every cute thing. There's 550 pictures of embroidery stuff because I need things like that. And you can take these and create little pictures or just do just the little ones. And that is by, oh, I'm gonna murder the name, so I won't. It's Nihon Vogue. It's Nihonvogue. This is by Amy Ray, and it's 400 designs. This is really for hand embroidery, but I wanted it for the ideals of how to do some neat things. And then this one by Deanne Black. It even has some letters, which would be hard to do, but not impossible. And then this one by Jessica Long had a bunch of animals that I thought was really cute. So that's it for my resources. I think that's more than enough to get you started, and by all means, that is not the only resources that are out there. I really hope that you enjoy this experience with Treadle embroidery. I have found it absolutely delightful. So thank you for joining me, and I have another video that is not part of the series that I will do on just how to do the treadling for those that are beginners. You can join us in our Treadle group on Facebook, Treadle Embroidery and more. Thank you. Have a great day. Good night. God bless, and don't forget to pray.